When the city you live in is flooded, there is usually a river nearby, and its riverbed is often higher than the plains where your home is. After waiting a long time for the floodwaters to recede, you then discover another problem. The river does not pass through the city, so it cannot irrigate the farmland. So, at a suitable place upstream, you cut an opening to divert the river water toward all parts of the plain. In this way, the water can irrigate farmland, and during the rainy season, it can also disperse the flow and reduce flooding. You name this opening the Baupinko, but if the water flow is too strong, it would be like bringing floodwaters directly into the city. Therefore, you wisely build a Jinggang dike in the middle of the river. Using its fish mouth-shaped front, you split the Min River into the inner river and the outer river. The outer river is wider, so it can carry away more floodwater. However, during the dry season, if most of the water still flows into the outer river, the city and farmland will face severe water shortages. To solve this, you raise the riverbed of the outer river and make it wide and shallow, while keeping the inner river narrow and deep. In this way, when water is scarce, about 6/10 of the flow enters the deeper inner river, while only 4/10 goes to the outer river. When the water volume is extremely low, nearly all of it can flow into the inner river. Even more ingeniously, during flood season, the situation reverses. The wide channel of the outer river can discharge 6/10 of the floodwater, while the narrow inner river can only accommodate 4/10. This is the famous 4-6 water diversion system. But if the flood is extremely large, even 40% of the flow could still cause disaster. So you carve a depression into the Jinggang dike to further divert water from the inner river. When water levels are low, this structure does not affect the flow toward the city. You name this place the Feixian. If that is still not reassuring enough, you can also dig an additional flood relief channel. Your brilliance does not stop at diverting water. You also manage to divert sediment. Because the inner river lies on the concave bank and the outer river on the convex bank, sediment is more likely to accumulate in the outer river. As a result, about 80% of the sediment goes to the outer river, while only 20% enters the inner river. This is known as the 2-8 sediment diversion, ensuring that the water flowing into the city remains much clearer. Note that when the water of the inner river strikes the mud bank beside the Baopingkao, it creates a backflow that throws most of the sediment into the Feixian. Therefore, the Feixian must be built lower to make it easier for sediment to be expelled. This is called the low weir. In addition, a small portion of sediment is thrown into the Fengqiwo, which must be cleaned every year during the dry season. The riverbed must be dredged deep enough until the ancient iron bars left by earlier generations are exposed. This is known as deep dredging of the shoals. Congratulations! By doing all this, you have not only invented the Dujiangyan irrigation system, but also nurtured the rich and beautiful land known as the Land of Abundance.